right, we had big news going in from Tuesday night and it ended up breaking Wednesday when the Big Ten Conference announced that they were going to be starting back up for the 2020 season. A season that was looking like it was only going to be the SEC and the Big Ten and the ACC. Now gets a big jump with the Big Ten back in play. The Big Ten is going to start their season on the October 24th weekend. I believe there might be a game or two on the 23rd, but it's going to be an 8-week season. So the teams are only going to play 8 weeks, 8 games, and then the 9th is going to be championship week, and I'll talk about that in just a little bit. So that means you're going to play your 6 divisional games and 2 crossovers. I like this move. I like that the Big Ten is getting back. The Big Ten is we talk about the SEC. The SEC is the king as much as I think the SEC gets overrated at times. The SEC is king, but the Big Ten is right behind them, a step behind them. Ohio State's a legit playoff, not only a playoff contender, but a national championship contender. Penn State, so on and so forth. The Big Ten is easily the second best division, and on some years you could have an argument that they are the on par with the SEC. But this is huge because obviously we want all of the conferences playing. We want a full season. We're not going to get that. Getting the Big Ten back and playing and back into the national championship picture. The reason why they're starting on October and having this 8-week, 8-game schedule is so that they can get teams to qualify for the college football playoff. Now, it does come with some hiccups. Like I said, you play your 6 division games and then there are 2 crossovers. It'll be anxious to see how they rework the schedule. There was a rumor, there was talks that they will take the previously announced schedule that they had in early September, or early August, whatever it was, and they'll just knock off one of those games. But you have to wonder, will they rework it a little bit so they kind of have maybe a little bit more geographic fit, or you're not going to take one team, and load up Ohio State and Michigan on their schedule as their 2 crossovers. Are they going to try and balance things out a little bit? So that should be interesting. The thing I don't like about the Big Ten and what they're planning to do is they don't have any flexibility into their schedule. There's no built-in bye weeks. You're seeing this when the Big Ten first announced their scheduling. They had multiple weeks that if games were going to get canceled, they could move them. We see that with the SEC. We've seen that with the Big 12, that they have these open slots that they could slide teams into. The Big Ten doesn't have that. And so if there is an outbreak, if there is where a team and a game gets postponed, that those games aren't getting made up. So could Ohio State, in realistic fashion, could they have a couple games? Because if they have to cancel a game, they might have to cancel 2 weeks of games. And could a 6-0 Ohio State, are they going to have enough on tape, enough quality victories to put them into the playoff? Or would a 2-loss SEC team get in over a undefeated Big Ten champion, but a team that only played 6 games, where the SEC team, maybe they played 8 or their full schedule? So that'll be something definitely to kind of keep an eye on. One thing that's unique to the Big Ten that I kind of like a little bit is they're not going with your traditional Big Ten championship game. Now, we're still going to see the top team in the West versus the top team in the East in a de facto championship game, but the Big Ten is doing a 9-game schedule. Now, I said they're going to play an 8-week schedule prior, but on December 19th, they're going to do something unique. The number 1 team from the West is going to play the number 1 team from the East, and then the number 2 team from the West is going to play the number 2 team from the East, so on and so forth. So you're kind of going to get like a positional round. I know I used to play in a golf league, and every so often they'd have a positional round where the top team would play the second best team, the third best team would play the fourth best team, just to kind of see that even things out. I really like this, and I think would be something that I wouldn't mind seeing in the future. Now, obviously, if you're the number 3 seed and you've played the other teams, the other divisions 3 seed, maybe you've already played them earlier in the season, but it's kind of unique. You get to see the two worst teams play against each other. You get to see the second best teams play. It just gives you another game, and maybe a game against someone that you are comparable to, just to kind of see where you're at. So I think that's something unique, but it's something that I really like, and I'm really anxious to see how it plays going forward. So regardless of everything, the Big Ten is back. I hope that everything's successful. They're able to go out there and play their full schedules. It's going to be great seeing them added to the schedule. I've loved college football coming back, but so far the games have been kind of lackluster. We've had a few ACC games, a few Big Ten games. The schedule hasn't really had much of quality games. Kind of thin at the different time slots. So getting the Big Ten back in there, they're going to dominate that early game, that 11 o'clock Central game, the 12 o'clock Eastern time game. You're going to get some good matchups. Then when the SEC is going to be playing at the same time too, it's going to feel a lot more like college football, and I couldn't be more excited as a football fan.